to Advertising Takedown, a rundown of the 10 most common and effective advertising techniques used to get you to spend. Advertising. It's ancient, it's everywhere, and it's effective. Extremely effective in many instances. There are two primary reasons why advertising works. First is because of the exposure effect. The exposure effect states that the more frequently we are exposed to an image, brand, logo, etc., the more we will like it. Just seeing or hearing a particular visual or phrase will automatically give us a positive impression of it. Secondly, it turns out that we as a public are sorely misguided as to how effective run-of-the-mill advertising actually is. The more we take the messages in advertising for granted, the better they work. The truth is that the relaxed state of mind with which we view advertising allows it to permeate our conscious mind to an even higher degree than if we were to pay close attention to it. The advertising we are surrounded by every day gets us spending. Advertising affects us, even when we are unaware of it. So what tactics do advertisers use to capture our attention? There are hundreds, but let's run down the top 10. Violating reality. Imagery that warps reality gives us a jolt and gets us to take a closer look. Advertisers often blend two types of imagery to create one image. Our brain is constantly categorizing things and images of things that we encounter in everyday life. That's a man, that's a shark, that's a statue, that's a hand. But when one image blurs these lines, it messes with our brain's categories and forces us to alter one of our categories or to create a new one. This extra time spent with the ad makes it that much more effective. Humor. When we encounter an ad that demonstrates a sense of humor, we relax and are automatically put in a better mood. If a brand can demonstrate that they find humor in the same kinds of things you do, they've already found common ground with you. They're one step closer to selling you their product. Sex in advertising. The desire to reproduce is hardwired into humanity, and along with it is a strong reaction to sexually charged images. Sex in advertising can take the form of nudity, sexual behavior on the part of the model, or sexual reference, using objects which bring up sexual associations. Do you see how this ad combines a violation of reality by blurring the breasts of the female model with nudity in order to sell these energy drinks? This ad uses its text to imply that a vacation to any one of the advertised resorts will get you what you want from a woman. The eye contact, facial expressions, and alluring postures of women in advertising all imply that they are sexually aroused. The defensive position of this woman in a fashion ad borrows from the 19th century sculptures of women. This genre of sculpture used the rape of women as artistic inspiration. The next tactic is the principle of commitment. This tactic states that if we first make a small commitment, in order to appear consistent, we'll end up making a larger commitment later. So in other words, if a company can get us to like them on Facebook or interact with their brand in any sort of simple way, we'll be more likely to buy into that company in the near future in order to justify our original action. Principle of fear. Another prominent tactic utilized in advertising works by exploiting our most primitive emotion, fear. We fear adverse effects on our loved ones, pets, and our bodies, or not keeping up with trends or maintaining our appearance. If we are at all intimidated by comparing ourselves to the standard set in an ad, we're already on our way to making a purchase. Greenwashing. A new trend has arisen in advertising in which brands make claims to being green, aka environmentally friendly. This trend is called greenwashing and refers specifically to claims that are untrue or misleading. Many brands focus on the green credentials of their brand, which end up amounting to very little of their total business. Green logos, leafy backgrounds, and imagery of plants and trees can be found everywhere in current advertising. In light of the science supporting the theory of global warming, advertisers are cashing in on our fear and our desire to do the right thing. Investigate these claims before you purchase. Marginalizing postures. The angle of the camera in any photograph is indicative of how we should view the subject. For example, people of importance or power are often shown from upward-facing angles or a worm's eye view. But what happens when we photograph a cute animal or a child? What about a woman? A widely cited analysis of the portrayal of women done in 1976 found that female models are often portrayed in childlike or submissive poses, coyly averting their gaze, biting a finger, or lying on the floor. These postures can be seen as reinforcing women's traditionally dependent role in Western culture. Copy in threes. Writers and speakers alike for centuries have recognized the rule of three. Words or phrases that are grouped into a set of three have a natural cadence. Think of the phrase, ready, set, go, for example. They please the ear and reassure us that there is a beginning, middle, and an end. This rule can be seen in advertising everywhere, from the tagline to the body copy. The principle of social proof. This tactic is extremely common and deceptively powerful. Simply put, we tend to think that a popular opinion is a good one, and we end up going along with it. If so many other people made a certain decision, then it must be a good one, right? Words like best-selling, most popular, and fastest-growing are common phrases used in advertising. Overwhelming evidence exists proving that we follow the crowd even when we originally knew the decision was wrong. Think before you buy. What's popular isn't always right. Stereotypes in advertising. Advertising uses photography to simulate reality on the printed page or moving screen. Because these images need to communicate quickly, oftentimes advertisers rely on easily recognizable representations, or stereotypes. In order to communicate that these shoes are comfortable, this shoe company has resorted to showing a woman changing a tire and heels in a dress, a job we are to assume is out of character for a woman. Take a look at how these other ads reinforce female, male, and racial stereotypes. Is there a better way to communicate quickly and efficiently? So there you have it. You now know 10 of the most common and effective techniques advertisers use to persuade you. As you just learned, advertising is ancient, and it's not going anywhere. As long as there are products to sell, there will be agencies to advertise. It's up to us as the viewers to remain informed and not blindly buy into the messages we're fed. Be informed, be critical, and spend wisely.